I got Keni Burke on the phone. That's Stormin' Norm and the crew.
Brother Stormin',
yes.
Welcome.
Yes. Can we officially welcome to the Man Cave Morning Show?
Do we have a good connection?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can
hear loud and clear.
Can you hear us good?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right.
So let's officially welcome Keni Burke to the official Man Cave Morning Show. The legend, the artist, the musician, dope bassist.
Yes.
Producer.
Yes.
Songwriter.
Yes.
All of that, man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
We appreciate you joining us this morning.
Now, listen, man. I see you still doing great things. Every time I look up, you're performing here and there. I heard you was just recently at the Power event at the Garden performing and everything. Just tell the world right now where Keni Burke is at right now in his life right now and the great things you're doing. Of course, everybody knows you from that classic Rising to the Top. We was just bumping that this morning and everything. What's been going on with you, man?
Well, brother, that's a very, very great question. And let me first say this, because I know that, we're talking about Jersey, New York, East Coast, and the love, first of all, that I have been given over 30 plus years because of one song that God blessed me to write. And that song, as you know, is the Rising to the Top anthem.
Yes.
Has connected with people throughout time continuously to date. That for me, being someone who has gone on 7 decades in this industry, even myself, I'll be honest with you, I'm living it, but it's unbelievable for me that it's happening.
And you know the ironic thing? That song, Rising to the Top, came off the album called Changes, right?
That's correct.
Yes.
And look how ironic that is, because it changed your life.
That's a fact, yeah.
Wow. Well, see, no one ever put it together like that. But speaking of that album, okay, so RCA had 2 albums with me, and that was my second album with RCA. And if you looked at that album cover, you saw a very young Keni Burke in some kind of a metallic leather jumpsuit, and it was not indicative necessarily of what Rising to the Top was, right? It was a different look, different image.
Yeah.
Well, here's what it was. See, because I'm also a known bass player, all right? And I did sessions in L.A. from the 70s to the 80s and was one of the top session dudes. So I worked with everybody that was anyone from that era playing bass. So everybody at the label said, well, Keni, you are going to be our Rick James and our Prince, because you're a musician, you're a singer, you're a producer, and you're a funk guy. So that's what they wanted to try to market me. But I told them, I said, not so fast. I said, that's just one side. But you got to also remember, I'm from Chicago. I'm a real song ballad mid-tempo guy.
Right.
And I told them then, I said, Rising to the Top is the song. All that other stuff y'all are trying to do, go with Rising. Go with Rising, because that's really me. See, so the rest is history. The rest is history. Sometimes radio will pick a song, and like Frankie Crocker, BLS did back in the day, right? They pick a song, and then that song just had this underground cult following that no one knew. I mean, you can't take credit for something that wasn't even invented. Sampling wasn't invented when I wrote that song. So you can't take credit for it. You feel me?
Right.
It's just a testimony to the power of Almighty God. When you stay true to your mission, brother.
Yes.
Okay? When you stay true to your mission, But see, I was raised in my young adult life on 125th Street. People, Chicago, yes, but I was on 125th Street, Grant Project, when I was 18. I was soldiering on 116th Street in Lenox at Muhammad's Mosque number 7. And Minister Farrakhan was the minister back in the day, in 72. So I came up as a New Yorker. Yeah, I was born in Chicago, but I grew up my young adult formative years in New York City. Trust and belief, okay? So I had that awareness that somewhere, somehow, something needed to be said other than shake your booty, let's go dance and get on the dance floor, which is fun. But I stayed true to my teaching.
Right.
I stayed true to what I felt was more important in the way of giving a message, and that's where I know we're doing everything that we want to, but meanwhile, are we losing because we won't let go?
Right. Yes.
See? And Rising to the Top was born in the spirit of trying to give something back to our people.
Absolutely. Clap that up. And it's very infectious, and it's funny when you said rising to the top, and how the hip-hop community also gravitated and embraced that song. And so many people have used your song. A lot of people don't even know how many people had used that, the song because of the infectious bass line and all of that. Dougie Fresh, Mary J. Blige, LL Cool J, Mary Jane Girls, Pete Rock, CL Smooth, Nas, the list, Grand Poobah, Notorious B.I.G., Redman. The list goes on and on and on. When you see so many people,
Jeremiah and Ty Dolla $ign,
yes,
recently.
Yes.
The light, and now the great Snoop Dogg is using the sample on his new album that's out right now, and the song is titled "Rise to the Top."
How does that make you feel?
Exactly, as an artist,
that all these artists that are legends in their own right wants to use a piece of something great you created?
Okay, do you want the industry answer or the real Keni Burke answer?
I want the real Keni Burke answer here on the Man Cave Morning Show.
Facts.
All right, I'm going to tell you one more time. All praises due to Almighty God. See, it makes me bear witness that when you stay on point and stay on your square, when you are given a command, follow me on this, because this speaks bigger than just the music business, because I think this is what is lacking, especially in these days and times more than ever, right? When you know that something is right, but you have a mission that you should do, don't falter. Don't be afraid to go after it.
Exactly.
There's going to be a lot of naysayers. There's going to be a lot of opposition. There's going to be a lot of obstacles. But when you stay on a righteous path, you don't know how Almighty God is going to bless you. But guess what's going to happen? He's going to bless you.
Absolutely.
And it's going to come in a way that you don't know. But it's going to be magnificent. That's who I attribute it to, and all of the people that's done it has just made me bear witness over and over again that when I stayed true to something that I felt I needed to do, in the midst of other people saying you should go another direction.
Exactly.
You feel me? Because you've heard me what I said earlier about labels wanting this. Go that way. No, we're going this way. So now what do you have? Not only has it translated into a great revenue stream, trust and believe, all the samples, but more important, listen, I'm your little brother, okay? I'm not a big guy in size. So it's so humbling and unbelievably beautiful when you walk around brothers 6'5", dudes 250, 300 pounds, and they come up to you and say, I just want you to know how much that song has meant to me.
Yeah.
And man, wow. You don't know how much we love that song and respect you, and they give you a sensei bow, like they're talking to the grandmaster Come on, brother.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to say to that?
And you know what? I often wonder, I say, you know what? From the 5 stair steps to when you began your solo career and when you came out with this infectious song, Rising to the Top, is there any need? I mean, at this point in your life right now, do you even feel the need to create new music? Because you can ride that forever.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you know what you just said. You all know the name Kid Capri.
Yeah.
Yes.
The great DJ and veteran Kid Capri.
Yes.
That was his exact sentiment to me. He said, Kenny, that song will live forever, and you can work that song forever. Well, to be honest with you, you know, I do feel in some ways that I, as an artist, didn't feel the need to really have to do more because I always preferred behind the scenes as a producer, and you know, and I like that fit for me.
Right.
However, I have songs that I never recorded and released that are still in its infancy that are other what I could see as being potentially great songs in the vein of Rising, but I've never felt the time was right. Okay, because I'm about timing, right? But the time may be right now.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
The time may be right now because when you have a brother named Curtis 50 Cent Jackson call you to the greatest arena on the planet,
Speak on it,
to come and perform.
That's a fact.
And then puts you in a place in the show where you're really closing it. Brother, I think that's a sign that it's time for me to go and put my boots back on and get right back out here and start soldiering.
Well, it's funny. We was doing the show yesterday, and then we was telling people, we was letting people know that you were going to be on today. You know, we was posting it up and all of that. And Bob Sumner, one of the founders of Def Comedy Jam, Bob Sumner was like, that's one of my favorite bassists ever. Yeah. He was like, I love Keni Burke.
Wow. Oh, wow.
He said this yesterday, right?
Yep,
right?
yep.
Right on the post. And Bob Sumner is also a friend of the show. And he loves you, man. I was like, wow, every time I we've been posting up and people's like, I love Kenny. Oh my God, this, that. So you got a lot of love out there, bro.
Yeah, still, definitely.
See, well, it's humbling, and guess what? Y'all got a lot of love coming back from me, you know, because I'm just your humble brother trying to stay a servant. And it's not about ego. It ain't about stardom. It ain't about who I am. It's about our people.
Yes.
All people trying to give some love and say something through it that may help someone. And that's the greatest reward that you could ever ask. People's love and respect. That's the greatest reward you could ever ask. Love and respect.
You know, one thing I have to ask you, because again, everyone loves your music, even from the 5 stair steps, and you guys went on and changed the name to, was it the Invisible Man Band?
Invisible Man Band, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's the difference? How does it feel actually playing and performing with your family as opposed to doing your solo thing?
Well, playing and performing with your family is the greatest experience, because that's your brothers and your sister who you grow up with, and you can play off of one another, and you have that security. The first time I thought about performing solo was the scariest moment of my life.
I believe it. I believe it. Out of your comfort zone. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you don't have anybody to your left or to your right. You know what I'm saying? And to be perfectly honest, that's one of the reasons that no one has seen me perform in the U.S. until at the Garden.
Wow. What a place! What a place to come out to show all the people at the Garden of all places.
Isn't that something?
The Mecca.
Yes, and my family, which we were known for our choreography. Oh man, oh boy, did we burn up some stages? Did we also lead the way for every family group that came after us, including my brothers and dear friends, the Jackson family.
Yeah, because y'all were the original family of soul.
Wow.
And then they took on that moniker.
Well, it's that old saying, out of sight, out of mind, and sometimes whoever has the biggest loudspeaker, people will believe.
Yes.
But trust and believe this. Those brothers know. They know. They know.
And a lot of people...
Someone on BLS Post. Let me just say this real quick, and this will tell you everything about that.
Okay.
Someone on the radio station, I won't even get the call letters out, but someone asked the J5 recently, so did you steal your choreography from the stair steps?
Wow.
And they put them on the spot really hard. They jammed it. And they answered it in a very kind way. They said that they loved and respected us. And, of course, coming up, they looked up to us. And they did. And they did. But here's what doesn't happen, unfortunately, in our business. Sometimes, the record companies and the A&R people and the marketing people, they're the ones who control the noise.
Exactly.
As to what's going out, right? Exactly. They're controlling it. So I was asked the same question by the same radio personality. So did they? And my response to it was this. Those are my brothers. We all came up young teenagers.
Right.
Not in control of what we were doing. So I said I never felt like they had anything less than love and respect for us as we do for them.
Right.
However, now the record company, now when it comes to answering that question, absolutely trust and believe. They were doing a lot of borrowing.
A lot of borrowing.
My family. So a lot of borrowing with video cameras hidden in the venue that we were performing in. And I know this from the horse's mouth because Motown executives in private gave it up.
Wow.
And so, what they were doing all the time. See, so at the end of the day, back to what we should be more, I think not. We got to be careful of being duplicit in things that are not correct. Huh?
Right. See?
So it's like, okay, who was the first. Go out and tell everybody who you came under. See? Don't try to stand behind the hype.
Yes.
And keep the hype going.
Wow.
Let people know that, no, we weren't the first. And you've made your money. You've had your thing. Now, tell people and prop your brothers up. See?
Yeah.
And until we do that, until we start doing that, and not being afraid of saying, no, I learned from this person. I give credit where credit is due.
Right.
Then some kind of way, you'll get the fame, you'll get the money, but you never really reach that point in your life as a human being where you have really broken through.
Yes.
Because you're still living on some fake false self, man.
Wow.
You know what? Gotta clap that up.
Yeah.
For a lot of people in this industry, it's hard for them to give up credit. To give credit to somebody else and admit that, yes, I did learn from this person, or yes, I did take from this person, or whatever. It's very hard for them to admit because they want to shine so bright.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That they have to dim others' shine. And that's a sad thing in this industry. Very sad.
Yeah, well, and it's insecurity. I mean, listen, like Rick James, okay? Let's go to Rick. And I love the way you guys went through some of the most important samples and people that have done Rising to the Top. Rick was the very first.
Really? Wow.
Was the first with All Night.
Mary
because
J.
what happened was my partner, who was a Motown guy and knew Rick, when we recorded the album and Rising to the Top, he was a little excited and did not understand that when you are in the studio, the last thing you ever do is play your music for someone else, because they may even unconsciously think it's their idea. It's not always that they're outright stealing, but you might get some of your creativity now into their head. Make a long story short, that's how All Night came about.
Wow.
My partner let Rick hear the album.
Wow.
And it's no coincidence that bass line and just the structure of the song, right, with the flute and the way it's all structured, he got it straight up from Rising to the Top. Now, the only reason I didn't go after was because back in those days, copyright infringement was based more on melodic structure, not like it is now, where a bass line can actually be the song, right?
Exactly.
Right.
You know, there's no melody in rap. So the beat and the music now is the identifying technique. But back in those days, you had to have an 8-bar melodic structure that was similar in order for you to be categorized as infringing on a copyright. You follow me? But guess what? We got some things that we're going to approach even with copyright law to try to change that, because we live in a different time now where people are sampling bass line.
Right.
Not melody.
Exactly.
So if you're sampling my bass line and I created that bass line, I think it's only fair that I should get paid for you sampling my bass.
Absolutely. You know, I
like Be Happy.
Right.
Yeah. Mary J. Blige.
Right.
All I really want is to be happy. Boom, bing, boom, that's a bass line I played on Curtis Mayfield's album. And the song never was heard.
Oh, wow.
Never saw the light of day. It was an album cut. And now here we have Mary J., one of her biggest hits of all time.
Wow. Facts.
Yeah. My thing is, like, with the case with Rick James, you know, like you said, somebody played the album in the studio, played your songs in the studio, and they subconsciously took that. Why didn't they just call you to play the bass on All Night Long?
Well, because people are trying to get over, man.
Exactly. They would have to admit it at that point, right?
Right. People are trying to get over.
Wow.
That's unfortunately, you know, that's the mindset. People are trying to get over, and if they feel they can get in and get it through the door before you, that makes them a winner.
Yeah.
It's that mentality. But trust and believe. Once again, I rest my case. Who won in the end?
That's a fact.
True indeed.
Yeah, that's a fact.
True indeed. Let's clap that up.
Yeah.
Who won? Who won it? Yeah, you know, all you got to do is stay true to yourself, and the rest of the stuff will work itself out if you're coming from the right place.
Yeah.
That's how I live.
Absolutely. I'm looking at some of the names of people you play bass for, and I'm like, wow. Sly and the Family Stone, Natalie Cole, Billy Preston, Les McCann, The Emotions, The Four Tops, Redman, Stan Guard, Curtis Mayfield, Bill Withers. That's my dude right there, Bill Withers. DJ Rogers.
That's my dude too.
Yes. Love me some Bill Withers, man. Gladys Knight, Diana Ross, Ramsey Lewis. What? Silk? Come on, man.
And even got yourself integrated into a video game. That right there in itself is huge. You got the youngsters listening to you. That's huge.
Yep.
Wow, isn't that something? And these are some off the radar artists. Cannot leave out the Beatles, George Harrison, and Mick Jagger and Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones.
Wow.
Now, correct me, am I wrong? Didn't George Harrison introduce your family's group to the Beatles? Or who was it that introduced?
Okay, well, it went like this. And we can't leave out the great late Billy Preston. Okay? My dear friend Billy Preston. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Will it go round in circles? You are so beautiful to me. That, you know, this was one of the greatest musicians, keyboardists ever.
Yes,
Billy Preston. Okay. So Billy Preston was considered the fifth Beatle because he played with the Beatles back in their highlight of their careers. And, George came by and visited Billy's ranch in California, and I was playing with Billy on the road at that time. So I had the pleasure of meeting George, and I just happened to have a cassette in my pocket of 4 songs that I had recorded, and I let George hear them. He was looking to sign new artists, and he was very, very excited about what I had. He said, "Yeah, let's do it. I'll sign Keni and his group." That group at the time was not the Five Stairsteps.
Okay.
It was my own group. But Billy was such a beautiful brother and fan and lover of the Stairsteps. He talked me into going on and doing it again with my family. So I brought my family back into the game.
Yeah.
And signed to George Harrison's Dark Horse record. That's how that went down.
Wow. That's a beautiful thing, man, when you got a friend like that.
Yeah.
Beautiful thing. In this business, especially in this business.
In this industry, yes. Very hard to find. Very hard to find.
Yes, sir.
Man, let me tell you. I'm sitting up there, and again I was listening to Ooh Child. I was like, that song still goes hard.
Another classic. Yeah.
That song still goes hard. Like if you do a performance, whatever, would you do that song in your set?
Okay, good question. Well, hold on one second, please.
Yes.
If you just join us on the phone, we got legendary.
Okay. Yes, sir. That was my landscape guy. Okay, excuse me, everybody.
All right.
Answer the question. All right. Well, that's what happens when you talking at home. All the real life stuff is going on with it,
exactly,
right?
at the same
all
time.
Right. Yeah. So back to the question, Ooh Child. That song is just such a. I mean, listen. You know that you have a very, very big record that's touched the lives of people, when people even in the sands of the Sahara Desert know.
Wow.
And they ain't even got no radio.
Wow.
That's, you know, it's that big. So, I mean, it's just listen, would I perform it? I would, for people I think that would want to hear that connection. However, it's a sacred thing with me when it comes to my family.
Right.
Because I'm not, my sister started the song off with her beautiful signature voice, singing Ooh Child. And then my brother, Clarence, God rest his soul, who passed away 6 years ago, was our lead singer, my big brother, Clarence. So without them, and the rest of my brothers, Dennis and James, I would kind of feel remiss in trying to represent it by myself.
Right. Yeah.
But what I would say I would want to do is, time permits, I would love to invite them to a show that I would do, and in some kind of way do it with them.
Nice.
Gotcha.
That would be beautiful, man.
Yeah, because that's a sacred, very special place for me when it comes to anything that I did with my family. I would have to try to include them in it.
Absolutely. Well, let me tell you, Keni, it's been an honor, definitely, speaking with you.
Yes, sir.
And just getting some history. I knew today was going to be a history lesson. Just talking to you, I knew that.
Wow.
and I'm so gracious just to talk to you, man. Just tell the world what's up and coming right now for Keni Burke, and any performances or anything you want to shout out?
Yes, very, very much so. Well, we do have new material that we are looking forward to putting out in the very near future.
Nice.
I think we're going to have some nice surprises for everyone. We're going to try to stay true to what people would like to hear from me, as well as we're planning on putting on a show right there in Manhattan, and we will let you be one of the first to know when we have a date. But we're trying to bring a nice tribute type of a show where we're going to invite some of our favorite hip-hop artists, rappers to the show, where we can all do Rising to the Top together with all of the great people who have sampled it.
Wow.
So we had some things in the making. Yes. And we're looking forward to keeping the ball rolling. We're trying to keep it moving.
No doubt.
That's
Please let us know. Once you get that date, let us know. We will be in the building.
That's a fact. I would love to see that.
You will definitely be the first to know. And let me just say this. Out of all the interviews I've done, you have been one of the most prepared of anyone that I've ever spoken to. And it was such a joy to speak with someone who knows and has done their homework, and the spirit was received like we're just having a conversation on the phone. I appreciate you so much for inviting me on your show.
Appreciate you too, my brother. And again, continue blessings. And I just got to say to all the listeners out there, again, we're speaking with a legend.
Yes.
And he wants all y'all to keep rising to the top.
That's a fact.
Appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely. And we say amen on that.
Continue blessings to you, and thank you so much, man. It was great speaking with you.
Brother Storm and Norm and the crew.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Peace out, man.
Norm, I appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you too, family. No doubt, man.
Peace, AB.
All right, AB. Definitely holler at you after the show.
All right.
Blessings, man. Listen. That interview meant a lot, man, because, again, two of my favorite songs. Yeah.